Out Hotel. This is Sarah. Said tap around my eye. Peace and blessings. And all that good stuff. Okay. I want to read something. I was studying, finding out a lot of good stuff about our condition, our societal ramifications are based on a system of actions that was actually designed to create a world of chaotic decadence. That's what we have. Now, one of the things I noticed is that there is a lot of women without men. I noticed that. And then they don't want one either. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they don't want me, but what I'm saying in general is that our society have set up circumstances with pornography, dildos, other women, and privileges of monetary gain with the removal of having a male counterpart. You seem to be more privileged. Women that are single with children have a better chance of getting help to sustain themselves from the government than women that are married with a man does. This government has deliberately made the value of men be so decreased that it's pathetic. The only people of a male status in America that has any credibility is white men, mostly Christians or Jews, overall being a Zionist that owns all of the real estate of the planet that is not legally appointed to him by the universe but has been taken through coercion, manipulation, deceit, violence, mismanagement, deprivation, you name it, murder, everything that's a part of the devil's work is what was implemented to create the world of decadence that we live in right now. But one of the most successful things that was utilized was the brainwashing of the women on the planet to get them involved with helping the white supremacist power structure separate and keep dichotomization between the families as well as the neighbors, as well as the cities and the counties, as well as the states. People should not have barriers, yet it is important to have private sectors. But private sectors could be as imaginative as the thought of a self-individual being a private entity, but knowing the importance of being a part of a thriving collectiveness for the better being of all. Which means that I as an individual has to take my I personification to the bathroom. I as an individual must go to the dentist. I as an individual has to go to talk to an appointment person today at 3 o'clock. Those are the I's I'm talking about. But outside of that, there is the yous. That is you are the person that I'm going to meet at the appointment. You are the person that is going to be my dentist. You are the person that is going to be wherever I have to go have an interaction at. You will be the person that I have the interaction with. So knowing that the yous and the I's should be very important to everyone, because today you're an I, but then you could be a you. And that could be in segments of seconds also. That's just the way it works. So if you a rich asshole that treats the people that's not as rich as you fairly poor, then the person that's richer than you is gonna probably treat you the same way. So shit rolls downhill. So let me show you why it's very important that the woman who gives birth to all the people on the earth has a certain responsibility as to what type of education she receives should be all the time scrutinized by her and not allowed to make her be filled with any type of mental or physical illnesses. Any type of propaganda that would tell a woman that she is the reason for sin on the earth would definitely put her in a state of spiritual lockdown. I'm sure of that. Take my word for it. And the person that's in spiritual lockdown probably would not be healthy. They would probably not eat right, and they probably would listen to foolish propaganda that would tell them that the male that they birth all of a sudden is superior over them. And crazy, unimaginable, illogical rationalizing like that is the reason why our world is torn apart. But I want to read to you. This is called The Atrocities of the Single Mom. The book called The Exhuming of a Nation. Okay, listen what it says. The following subject matter, the single mom, is in no way written with ill intent, nor to degrade my brothers, sisters, or other women colonized and domesticated in the Americas. Indeed, they are goddesses and equally perfect in Allah's sight as their man and other creations of the one divine origin. Now, I use the name Allah in there because the people who wrote this book are practicing under the faith of Islam, which is nothing but a takeoff from the ancient Kemetic mystic system. It was the propagandas and philosophies of the people that was here in the Americas at the arrival of the European people that came here and disturbed their system of existence. You can see the structures and everything still remaining here, though the people has been put into states of mind control and mental retardation has been replaced with cosmic brilliance, or mental retardation has been put in the place of what used to be cosmic brilliance. Okay, now the reason why I say that is because I don't want no one to think that when I say Allah that I mean anything other than God, because to me Allah, Asar, Ra, all the names that's synonymous with God is acceptable, but I don't see Allah as being a threat to my spiritual understandings of how the things work, because Allah has never one time, to my understanding, outside of the corruption of the Arabs, the original Allah, that was the Allah of the God man and melanated man and woman, never did anything about this degradation of woman or this finding the class of people like these freaking Arabs try to say, no, they God chosen people, all that. No, none of that. No ancient Kemetic people ever said they was God chosen people. What they did is lived up to the title of what people who was put on earth by God should do. I mean, that they lived like gods, regardless of what the rumors and lies is about all the horrible things that they supposed to have done. I haven't found the proof of that, so I'm not going to accept that. Okay, so now the reason I said all that is because I don't want anyone to mistake me with being under the Nation of Islam or Muslim or anything like that. I do not belong to any religious affiliations, cults, or whatever you want to call it at all. At all. But this book that I'm reading has some very good information in it, very reliable, profound information. But again, I'm not Muslim, okay? Alright, remember this. The task of exhuming employs the precision removal of the soil that envelops that special body, okay? As an entire people, that entire body of an entire people which have been buried in shallow rubble, colorable laws, and opaque jurisdiction of corporate United States of America. I mean our judicial system. Although the Moorish people, when I say the Moorish people meaning the melanated people. Although the melanated people see the effects of these laws every day, they rarely comprehend what they see of these ruling spirits of those governing powers. I am certain the reader will agree that often a person does not realize they were in a state of sleep until they have been awakened. When when a excuse me when anyone is unaware of his or her state of sleep, it is termed as being unconscious. There is no dramatic difference between a sleepwalker and slave who does not realize he is a slave. In order for anyone to get from Wednesday to Friday, they must go through Thursday. The days are in their sequential places in alignment, with the advent of time. Like so, the atrocity of a single mom is merely to reveal another Thursday eclipse of the Moorish Americans' freedom, which has a divine destiny that must be attained on Friday. This chapter is not opposed to sisters, but for sisters. In this chapter, as in all life, works and teachings of Noble Drolly, every Moorish sister is hereby declared innocent babies. They are forgiven for everything they did before the advent of their Redeemer. The author has neither contention of nor the will to throw out African mothers of humanity with the following bathwater of the single moms. Okay, polygamy versus monogamy in American social prophecy. The foundations of bigamous laws in the United States are rooted deep in Europe's Catholicism. For some reason or another, it became a crime for the pontiff and his staff to go forth, be fruitful, and to multiply. Strange as it may sound, the all-male Vatican declared celibacy as a requirement for anyone to become holy or the father. These European rules and regulations, being remnants of law and order, pillaged from the ancient Kemetic mystery systems, later included all nuns and other females, which came under the authority by the bishops of the diocese or even the Pope. Here, Africa's ancient Egyptian mystery system must be remembered as the one true mother of all monotheistic religions, where celibacy was taught to each initiate during their courses and mastery of the self. However, many of the graduating adepts, Moses, Solomon, Boaz, Yeshua, and Muhammad, went on to marry and father children. Regardless of this history, bigamy laws gained strength in England and is and was pronounced as an ecclesiastic crime by the church to its members and subjects. The bizarre twist in history became the foundation for the institution known today as the single moms. Okay, now let's get down to business. This says a social wake-up call. Alright, the Honorable Noble Drew Ali gave holy instructions to the nation and told them, if thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. Today all girls, maidens, and women of melanin descendants and born in the United States are in undeniable trouble. Let me explain something to you guys. And here they say Moorish descendants. But there's a lot of people out there that don't see themselves as being Moorish. So I don't want to use that word because that'll probably make you feel like I'm not talking to you. But what I'm talking to is everybody that's on this planet Earth that's living in the Americas that has melanated skin, meaning your skin is different than being white. Okay? Then you are the person that I am telling you about the circumstances in your life right now being organized, all right, and put into effect by a government whose design is to keep you stagnated and keep you remnants. As now, slavery and always have been in the state of slavery since their arrival here in this land. Now I'm going to prove that to you. Now listen to this. Single moms are not born. They've been made single by judicial and political design. Okay? Single mothers, commonly known amongst so-called African Americans as single moms, are not born. They have been made single by judicial and political design. Single moms could not exist except with the absence of lawful husbands and or paternal fathers of the children they possess. Okay? Now, the United States population of single moms exploded at its most shameful and alarming rate during the latter 15 years of the 20th century. In May of 2002, the poster child for the single moms and radio personality Myra J. of the syndicated Tom Joyner Morning Show reported there are 7.5 million single moms out here in the United States of America today. These modest figures illustrate the profound summation of the various local city and state courts yielding a bounty of single females or single moms into these millions. Single moms now form an entirely separate, widowed society of women and children, not legal mother, parents, and wives as assumed. From the point of view of any nation, all single moms are the unprotected mothers of that society. Most people are unaware of the disappropriate rape the Negro, blacks, and colored men are somehow justifiably misplaced within the media-controlled judicial system. However, it may help to point out, although this cultural brew of the 14th Amendment recycled or abolished slavery, it is the melting pot of the United States. The main ingredient of this extended institution of slavery is, in fact, the single moms. See, let me explain to you why. If you got a single mom, it's because she just don't see any good in men, first of all. The reason that a woman could not see good in men is because men is getting bad information from their mothers. Now listen to what I'm saying to you. See, it takes a complete family to raise any child, male or female, correctly. But if you got a mother that has a child and no husband, it's because something that went really bad in her life. Either her husband already got killed, or might have gotten killed somehow, or maybe she got pregnant and never was married. Either way, these are bad circumstances for a male or female to be brought up, because listen, it creates decadence in the daughter being brought up because there's no male figure around for her to learn how to react to males with. And then there is no male figure around the same way when there's a son growing up. So he doesn't have anything to identify with as far as a male backbone or male guidance, especially in the world where you have a nation of people that purposely perpetuates homosexuality and tries to bring that stuff on the top of normality. You know what I mean? It made the normality be an abnormality. Everybody got to agree that this society is trying to push all these weird societal acceptances of unnatural acts. They're just being permitted and allowed at an excessive rate, and we can all see that. But my point is, the whole ideal of all these single moms shouldn't be going on. Not at all. The only reason why there's so many single moms is because all the men is getting locked up in prison. Now look, the problem is that these white men that's running this planet is using prison systems as a method of slavery. They're using the removal of the male from the melanated female's corner. By him not being there, she have to rely on them. They put her through all kind of loopholes and everything to make her be submissive to them. You can't wear your own hair. You might have to get your titties cut off. Eat this food, we're going to sell you a uterus. All this stuff is designed and orchestrated by sadistic minds that wants this to keep going on forever. That's the reason I come out here and point all this stuff out, because no one is seeing it. No one is seeing that there is a force on this earth that deliberately set traps to make people ritualize foolish ingestions of food, foolish conceptions of cognitive vibrations, foolish contacts of religious propaganda, foolish collection of materialism, foolish ID, identification of self. All these things right here is what make us live in a society where a beautiful black woman can walk past me and I don't even want to speak to her because I'd be afraid to. Because when you not fitting the status quo of successfulness that they're looking for, a lot of them can make you feel so bad after you speak to their ass. They just walk past you and look at you like you shit. So you get to the point where you do them the same way you do a whole lot of other people. You just walk past and keep to yourself, you know. But it's not really the way you feel like you should do in your heart, because when you see her, you know that she's a woman and she deserved to be greeted by you, and it wouldn't hurt to bow your head to her too. But why would you do that to someone that you know is going to talk to you and treat you like you're nothing but shit? Now somewhere the white man taught the black woman to how to conceptualization. The melanated woman is what I should say, but see, he also taught us to call ourselves black without having the employment of consciousness behind that word of our true identity being God, goddesses, and God. Melanated humans is what we could see ourselves being before we see ourselves as being simply called a description of black. All right? Okay. The dichotomization of a female and male of our melanated race opened the door for the continuance of the beginning of our separation, where we were separated in the slave camps of Ghana, where the man was on the other side of the wall, but we could hear these white men raping the women that they had caught on the other side of the wall. We could hear them crying and screaming and all the stuff that was going on. The horrible memories of that is still embedded in the genetics of us men and women of this earth, because the genetics keep getting recycled over and over, and that's the reason why every crime will be answered for and does have a consequence. But my thing is, even then, with the separation in the slave camps of Ghana, or the place where they've initiated the free melanated man and woman into their system of cruel oppression that they give a title of slavery to. I call it atrocious criminal deeds. That's what that is. That slavery is not going to just be the fancy pretty name you get to cover up all that atrocious doing and acts. No way. But it was then that the implementation of the division and dissension between the melanated man and woman will be a tactic, a strategy utilized by the Europeans to keep us without being able to form an infrastructure for ourselves. Okay, so it says, the foundation of bigamous laws in the United States are rooted deep in Europe's Catholicism. For some reason or another, it became a crime for the pontiff and his staff to go forth, be fruitful, and to multiply. Strange as it might sound, all the male Vatican declared celibacy as a requirement for anyone to become holy or the father. These European rules and regulations, being remnants of law and order pillaged from the ancient Kemetic mystery system, later included all nuns and other females which came under the authority by the bishops of the diocese, or system later included all nuns and other females which came under the authority of the bishops of the diocese, or even the Pope. Here, Africa's ancient Egyptian mystery history must be remembered as the one true mother of all monotheistic religion, where celibacy was taught to each initiate during their course as mastery of the self. However, many of the graduating adepts, Moses, Solomon, Boaz, Yeshua, and Muhammad, went on to marry and father children. Okay. The bizarre twist in history became the foundation for the institution known today as the single moms. All right, I just read that again so you guys can see how much effort was put into so many different areas to come up with the single mom, but you can see the United States are really deep in Europe's Catholicism. For some reason or another, it became a crime for the pontiff and its staff to go forth, be fruitful, and multiply. Okay. All right. A social wake-up call. The Honorable, I read that already, right? Okay, here we go. The United States population of single moms exploded at its most shameful and alarming rate during the latter 15 years of the 20th century. Okay, you see how fast it took off? You know that someone wanted that to happen. Okay? It says, from the point of view of any nation, all single moms are the unprotected mothers of that society. Most people are unaware of the disproportionate rate of the Negro, black, and colored men are somehow justifiably misplaced within the media-controlled judicial system. Okay, they just lock our asses up or kill us or send us to these stupid armies, militaries, drug addicts, alcoholics, homosexuals, everything that could be a social devastation to a nation, they have implemented and put on our ass full blitz. The problem is everybody out there sleep. They don't understand that. Okay, the definition for the word single is alone. One, only one that is extracted from others. Unmarried, the term being applicable to a widow and occasionally even to a married woman living apart from her husband, dominating. Okay? Single mom is not a lawful status with respect to mother, father, parent, or guardian. It is an implied social condition supported under the color of authority, but is abnormal in a wholesome society. Single mom, implying a mother who has been abandoned or otherwise left absent by the child's father, is a colloquial expression used to identify those African American mothers exercising the protected custody of children and negligence of their offspring biological fathers. This term derived from the liberated European female prototypes legally recognized as a single parent family. For the niggas, blacks, and colored people, it's single mom. For European societies, it's a single parent family. Note, the words parent and family are lawful statuses. The term single parent family is recognized and accepted judiciously, civilly, and socially as upright in the spectrum of citizenry. On the other hand, the state of the single mom is a condition of civil degradation, which reeks from the carcass of slavery that was abolished by the U.S. 13th Amendment in 1865. Women, particularly women of hue, will instinctively evolve towards sources of power, strength, and nourishment. The attraction is as much an inherent trait as it is natural, because they themselves come from the great God as seeds of the God-man. It must not be forgotten, in all her essence and purpose, she is goddess, a divine producer and sustainer of life. A melanin sister may openly display some degree of detest for the European male, but nonetheless, she recognizes him as the source which she must ask for favors. This is by years of design, and is not a daily accident, especially since her Moorish men, that means her melanated men, have been systematically displaced from any role as founder and national fathers. In fact, the Moorish male in the United States of America are dead last in political, national, independent, and economical powers more than any other man on earth. His women are reluctantly aware the so-called white man owns and controls all the material things that she wants or needs. He is made to appear as absolute ruler, while her natural man is secretly held powerless through his laws. Okay, let me show you what they mean. When I first came here to the city, I had just got so disgusted with everywhere you go, you try to find an honest job where you can work and make a living for yourself. And everywhere you go, you got to see these white men and these Mexican men. Everywhere you go with their fucked up attitudes, like they better than you and shit. And, we got our jobs and we working as a team to make sure that you die and you don't have shit. Everywhere you go, you see that shit. And they think it's a joke to just sit there and try to ostracize you on the planet and make sure you die. And I'm looking at the Mexican like, you a dumb motherfucker to see, because you don't see yourself. You're not looking in the mirror and see what you're doing. You don't understand that what you're doing is making yourself be the same stupid asshole that this man is, and he's gonna go to prison forever for that shit, and he's gonna suffer forever for attacking God. And here you God too. You are a son child too. You are brown skin too, but you want to sit there and denounce your status as a God man on this earth, so you can bow down and worship this devil and become the same devil he is. And you find honor in that. You find honor in watching somebody that's out here struggling and being abused by a corrupt society, and you join up with that. You join up with that. And then the black woman, you do too. See, this is what the deal is. You got the white woman, some of them. To tell you the truth, a black man could get more help from white women than he could get from black women, because black women are all Christians. And if a black man is not a Christian, black women don't want to help him, because the first thing you do is tell her, I'm not worshiping the white man because that's the problem with the whole world. And she don't want to live that because she's got a vagina. And so her vagina works in her favor with the white man. So she's not going to see